speculation has been running rampant in the mainstream media recently over whether an Elon Musk superfan account on X was actually Musk himself. The account in question, as some of you may know, is Adrian Dittmann. For those of you certain that Musk himself was the one running Dittmann's account, I hate to break it to you, but Adrian Dittmann is very likely actually Adrian Dittmann.
Thanks to reporting from The Spectator, we have more evidence that Dittmann is not Elon Musk. Instead, he is an entrepreneur living in Fiji who was born in Germany. The Spectator relied mostly on years' worth of social media activity from Dittmann and his family and cross-referenced details from public records. Dittmann himself, however, was not interviewed for the piece.
Musk and Dittmann actually hopped on an X space sometime last year. Let's take a listen.
I don't believe you're not me.
Yeah, that's a theory.
You
That's
are
a
me.
theory. People think I'm legitimately your clone. There's been theories that I'm one of your Neuralink experiments. Can you clarify that I'm not one of your Neuralink experiments, or maybe I am and I wouldn't realize it?
The Spectator story has taken a strange twist, though. It appears X has blocked the article. Podcaster Stephen Miller wrote on the platform X is blocking the link sharing of a story report at The Spectator. This is what old Twitter did to the New York Post. So there are two parts of this. So the first part is I saw a lot of speculation from mainstream media that Adrian Dittmann is Elon Musk, which would have been embarrassing for Elon Musk because this is a super fan account. This is like, he's the greatest, sexiest man who's ever walked the earth.
You've done great again, Elon.
Yes,
Kind of stuff, yeah.
and so that would have been like Father of the Year, that kind of stuff. So that would have been a little embarrassing if it was him. It is not him. That was just speculation on the mainstream media's part. They love to embarrass Elon Musk. They hate Elon Musk. Nope, not him. It is the guy who has the name of the account.
Yep.
The Spectator had a really good story on that. Spectator is an outlet that our Fridays co-host Amber Duke worked for up until this week. She just moved to the Daily Caller. I have a lot of friends there. They do good journalism, so good to them for this report. It is helpful and worthwhile. Oddly, you can't share it on X. It was suppressed. Now, I believe the stated rationale is that the article is an act of doxing because it says who the Adrian Dittmann account is without the permission of Adrian Dittmann. But this is a little weird because the name of the account is Adrian Dittmann.
Right.
So I don't know. I'm not sufficiently satisfied from the X standpoint that it was proper to do this suppression. It seems, in fact, improper to me. Yeah. Now, they could offer greater explanation, and then I might agree with them, but they haven't explained it sufficiently to my taste. It seems like there's no reason to suppress it because it's actually a flattering story to Elon Musk. It's explaining a criticism of him that is not valid. So I don't know why you would suppress it. But what Stephen Miller pointed out is that this is like, it invites comparison, there's no way around it, to the suppression done on X, formerly Twitter, of the New York Post story.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a further component to that side of the story, which is that the reporter who wrote the piece for The Spectator, Jacqueline Sweet, seems to have had her account restricted in some fashion, according to her editor there. Now, I know Jacqueline only from social media. She's not a Spectator staff member. She's a very good freelance journalist who has lots of places and lots of different publications. I've no idea what her overall political stance is because none of that is ever, to my mind, reflected in what she writes. But for both her account to be apparently restricted and the sharing of the story to be restricted or banned or suppressed is very, very peculiar because, as you say, the report is debunking a embarrassing theory for Elon Musk. So it's all very curious to me.
It is curious. And we should be clear, I don't know that Elon Musk personally ordered this to be suppressed or anything like. There are still moderators at X making these kinds of decisions. People can be moderated improperly. It happens on a variety of social media sites. It's happened to me before. I complain. You get your account back. Is she still being? Do you know?
I could find her account. Her account came up for me this morning, but I can still see the tweets from the editor at The Spectator saying that it had been restricted. So it's just a peculiar business.
Because it's weird, because you can't. It'd be weird to dox someone who has their name. I mean, I agree. I think doxing should be taken seriously. I'm in favor of social media moderation policies that restrict you sharing private information or exposing private people except under maybe certain circumstances where it's really in the public interest to do so. Certainly not providing addresses or means of contacting private people who are not in public life. If it's somebody in public life and they have an official comms phone number or something, maybe it's fine, but not their private number, their private address. I think that is bad, should not be done, because lunatics can show up on your doorstep if you're, a judge or something, and people are tweeting about that should be taken seriously. I have no problem with that being discouraged, and with people who want to remain anonymous on the internet being allowed to do so in accordance with the rules of the platform. So that's fine. But if it's just being used as a shield to take down a critic, well, not even a critic at this point, it doesn't make sense to me.
No, I know, and the other point there is that at least from what I could see, I didn't see anything that meets my definition of doxing in the story that I read. I mean, to me, doxing is the revealing of private details that are either intended to enable harassment or pose, an actual potential physical danger to someone. I mean, what I saw were things like references to, the fact that he's a German living in Fiji, for example, or that I didn't see where the private revelations that would endanger this man, Mr. Dittmann, were, and so that, of course, opens the suspicion as to why exactly it was being suppressed or restricted.
There are some changes underway at X that Elon Musk has hinted at a couple times recently in trying to change engagement around positive stories or that kind of thing. And it is interesting because I don't necessarily dislike the idea of making social media somehow more positive and not overly rewarding just constant negative engagement. Of course, that's a pretty subjective category, what's negative or positive engagement. Many people would say that Elon Musk right now has spent a lot of time calling attention to a scandal in Britain, Rotherham, that I don't know very much about. We're going to get some guests on later this week to talk about it in greater detail, I think, because I don't know very much about it. But he is calling attention to something conservatives think ought to be called attention to that is very negative. Should engagement be limited on that basis? I think people would say no. So it's very, I don't know.
I mean, that issue that he's drawing attention to in Britain would take us a long, long time to discuss.
Yeah, we will discuss it later
this week. We'll get to it at some later point this week. I mean, in short, I think Musk is misrepresenting some positions that Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister, has taken in the past. But anyway, that's a discussion for another time. I do think that there is a widespread concern about social media often degenerating into rage bait and into just stoking the furnaces of outrage all the time. But I don't know, I just don't know enough about the technical side of it to know whether algorithmic changes could, as it were, solve that problem, or if that's just in the nature of human nature to be more driven in a more visceral sense by negative emotions than positive ones.
Indeed. More to come on our show still later today. Please stay with us.